What is up, guys? It's CJ here, and welcome back to another trade review here on DAX today. This was a trade that I recently took last week, I think last week on Monday, and it ended up playing out on Thursday or Friday. Let's see, Thursday looks like. And it was just a really, really nice trade, so I want to go over it. And this is a model that you've probably seen me trading quite a bit. It will be a model within my SWT system, the system that I am building. This model is the SW1-RA, and RA standing for Re-accumulation, SW1 standing for Wyckoff Model 1. So this model right here is an SW1-RA, and there's a lot of different factors that we are using to build the context for this model, why it is okay to trade a Wyckoff reaccumulation in this area, because we only really want to trade reaccumulation ranges like this in pro trend environments. So let's get rid of everything here actually and go over the trade. So let's put it back to where I actually saw the chart. Because I kind of arrived just on time. Sometimes that's the best. Sometimes you don't want to be rushed, but I did arrive just on time to this model. So if we zoom out on the higher time frame, we have DAX here. Let's look at the daily. So it actually had a very, very nice, I guess, SW2 distribution, Wyckoff Model 2 distribution here with Wyckoff and Wyckoff in the third tap of the Model 2. That pushed price down. You kind of did, I think you had some SFPs. Yeah, you had a 3-day SFP. So if we get rid of this was a 3-day SFP. Let's check the 3-day. What did that look like? Kind of SFP. And then you did get a candle closure, but immediately sucked back up. There was a model there as well, though it was a bit of a deeper deviation here, you know, just a little bit drawn out. But yes, this is the German economy. I guess we do have that on there. But what I really want to talk about is, so yes, we were having these SFPs at the low. So the all-time high, you know, you did get that candle closure. So I won't say one way or another, but at least you're not having a massive candle closure. And then since that point, we've literally just been trending up. So we're in an uptrend, but that doesn't even set the stage to take this. What sets the stage to take this is this high right here. So if we just look at our level 1 market structure, starting from that low, skip some points, it is like this. So let's just make that blue. And then what makes this point is, to continue on this trend, we want to break our level 2 market structure back to bullish to signify that we're going to continue the trend. So from this point, we're going down on the 12-hour here. And our market structure broke back to bullish right there. So this break right here, put it on the chart, this break right here can confirm a rotation back up to the high that created it. Not necessarily to all-time high, right? But all-time high is right above that high. So essentially almost to all-time high. But it can confirm a rotation to, I was going to put a magnet, to this high. So this high can be a magnet right here based on this breaker structure. Sometimes you can take the low, and sometimes the market makers will just keep this as a PL, a protected low. So how are they going to move price? Well, Wyckoff is just, you know, an engine to move price in the desired direction. So you can move price in all sorts of different ways. But after that PL, the market makers decide to use an SW1-RA model. So that could like, you can get a reaccumulation where this is a regular range, or you can get the SW1-RA range like we did see here. And that started off with this distribution right here. I'm not sure if there was an entry. I honestly just wasn't watching DAX for that. Let's just put this right there. Well, these points are not quite lining up. We'll make it a little bit more clean. But this was our level 2. I think we do have a level 2 saved, a little bit different. Okay, so the main thing now is to know that we can be looking for reaccumulations based on that market structure level 2 break trending up from the low. So we've shown all the market structure confluence that now allows us to pull this range right here. And if this range looks a little bit different to you, it is no less valid in any way, shape, or form. This is a Wyckoff range. It's called a re-accumulation. So it follows slightly different rules, but in the same way, we have our same points. So I like to label these as upthrusts / ARs. So it's upthrust. It was a Model 1. Yeah, so that's the UTAD upthrust after distribution. You can put on a buying climax. Here we actually do have a PS. Came into a fair value gap right here. Also structure demand for the first time. If you're like you want to validate your PS, this whole area was structure demand like this. Perfect. Then you had your selling climax right here. Nothing too crazy in a break structure point of view, but you will see them less on RA models. And then you get your spring right here, and in SWT, we are always looking for actual Wyckoff, no extended models. No, there's liquidity here if it's a Wyckoff point. So you get your spring and then you get your test after. And that's very common. If we play out price a little bit here. Perfect. So we came into supply. How can we confirm our spring? I think there was a couple ways. Let's see, you had a small IFEG on the 4, nothing on the 5. So this spring was confirmed with this 4-hour IFEG right here. So that's just like a way that I'm using to confirm points, not necessarily going to trade this point. The RR's not really there. And you definitely only really becomes more interesting after the test. Yes, there was a rejection block entry right here that maybe if you did see that 4-hour get flipped right there, candle closure, that maybe you would try to start your position limiting this rejection block, which is this wick right here. So we can put that on the chart. That RB right there. Make it, should we make our RB? Let's make it like this color. Yeah, something like that. But in true Wyckoff fashion, you do get a test, and we have a nice return to zone back up. That's very important. And then you get this. So what is the POI? What is the entry trigger? So especially for DAX, we can be looking for hidden liquidity. So I haven't talked too much about hidden liquidity, though it will be a part of the SWT system. I was actually using bearish Hobbs just for this. I don't know why. I had recently started to put lines around my Hobbs, and it just made me like them so much more. I just don't like the red color. Kind of looks pink and stuff when you don't have it. And then discovered the lines around, and that's a really clean POI for me. So let's see, can we play out another candle? No, we can't. So at the time I was coming in to the charts right around here. This bullish candle had closed, confirming also a break of structure. So see how we're using break of structures in tandem. I'm not the hugest fan of scaling down and getting those low time frame breaks that just fail all the time anymore. Way more interested in trading inefficiencies as entry triggers. I just like my win rate a lot more on them, but I'm using break of structures for context wise all the time. So there's a valid entry right here anyways. You know, there's a valid break of structure entry right here anyways. That only confirms the rotation up to this high. But if we take this high, I would like to see the domino effect all the way up, and then all the way up to our magnet up here that I forgot to put on as a point. So let's put that on right there. And that was our TP2. And it's the reason, this mark structure again, is the reason that we were able to look for this model. So last thing for the hidden liquidity is fibs from the test down. The closest thing, or I think I was checking from the spring. Nah, maybe the test. Let's see. We can't. We got one more candle. I think we already tried that. So let's get our fibs going here. And I believe is a 0.5. Yeah. So the closest thing was a 0.5, and this is also a partial hob. I'm only played it because, you know, the context was so good and the model was super, super good. So if we go back to that 2 hour, perfect. Can't remember exactly. Oh yeah, from here, from this high. Sorry guys. From this high, pulled from the spring to this high. Perfect 0.5 touch. So basically the retracement from the spring to the highest point after the spring. You can kind of pull your hobs from all sorts of different places. This was the one that made the most sense to me. I actually market ordered, I think, right around here, but it might have been even deeper into the POI. And I did go candle body and then running it up like this. TP1, TP2. Wasn't trying to be greedy for the all-time high, but obviously you could have ran it to all-time high as well. So our model was set up. Our entry trigger did confirm the model, allowed us to get in, although this breaker structure already confirmed the entry. This just allowed us to get a bit more refined entry. And then if we play out price, we can see that price absolutely blasts off. Just continuing on this bullish order flow right here that broke back, and price uses this SW1-RA Re-accumulation Wyckoff Model to move price up. This is just market makers accumulating, and if you're not pulling these types of ranges, you're already trading a system that doesn't give an abundance of trades depending on the market you're looking at, and now you're probably eliminating, you know, another 50% of trades you could possibly be taking by not understanding these schematics. So I'll do a better job at, you know, showing these and explaining them and explaining why they work and how they're working. But this will basically wrap up our trade review on DAX. This is one of my favorite trades I think I've taken in a while on a swing account. You know, I've been trading a lot of futures lately, but I could not fade this when I did see it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I've been CJ, and I will see you guys in the next one.